This interview is an original work of fiction and intended solely for entertainment purposes. The responses attributed to the Sumerian figure, Enmeduranki, are entirely imagined, and any resemblance to real events or persons, living or deceased, is purely coincidental. The content presented here is not meant to convey actual historical facts or suggest supernatural communication with the dead.
Today, on the Afterwards, we step back in time to the ancient Sumerian figure, Enmeduranki, a man whose name echoes in the legends of pre-dynastic kings and divine knowledge. Enmeduranki, according to ancient Sumerian texts, was not only the seventh king of Sippar, but a man chosen by the gods themselves to receive secret knowledge. He is said to have been a priestly king who was taught the arts of divination, astronomy, and how to read the movements of the heavens. Some scholars believe he may have been the precursor to the biblical Enoch. The texts suggest that Enmeduranki had interactions with beings beyond our world, witnessing their movements between realms, and even having been granted visions of these gods who moved between worlds. This has sparked modern interest, particularly in the realms of ancient alien and Stargate theories. Today, we ask him the questions that modern minds crave answers to. This interview will dive into his divine encounters, the gods' movements, and what humanity was truly meant to learn from witnessing such phenomena.
You've been called a king and a priest, but also a man who was chosen by the gods to receive special knowledge. What was it about you that set you apart? Why were you chosen?
The gods choose not as men do, for their sight pierces deeper into the fabric of being. It was not my status as king that marked me, but my ability to listen. Long before the gods imparted their wisdom, I had prepared myself, fasting for days, aligning my spirit with the movements of the stars. The gods chose me because I was already walking their path in silence before I knew they were watching. I understood that the universe speaks in symbols, in lights that shift above and whispers that the winds carry. They saw in me the willingness to receive, the patience to endure, and the humility to teach.
You were shown visions of the gods moving between worlds. Can you describe what that was like? What exactly did you see?
Imagine, if you will, standing on a precipice where the sky folds into itself like water passing through unseen hands. There were no words for such sights in my time, and perhaps there are none still. I saw great beings that walked not by foot, but through thought and intention. The stars themselves were their roadways, bending to their will as they passed. And there were gates, openings between realms, shimmering like heat rising from the desert, but solid in form. The gods crossed effortlessly, moving between realms as we cross rivers. These gates were not merely physical, they were thresholds of thought and time. Through them, they saw both the past and future as one.
How did humans witness or even partake in these cosmic movements? Were we allowed to travel like the gods?
Humans are bound to the earth, but the gods allowed us glimpses, moments where the veil was thin. During sacred rituals, when the stars aligned, some of us were taken, not in body, but in spirit, to witness their journeys. It was a union of mind and cosmos, a melding of the human consciousness with divine energy. Few were able to withstand it. Those who did returned altered, not physically, but spiritually, bearing knowledge that set them apart. We partook not in the same way the gods did, but in witnessing their movement, we were gifted the wisdom of the heavens, the ability to read omens, to understand the cycles of time, and even to predict future events.
There are theories today that ancient civilizations like yours were visited by extraterrestrial beings, not gods. What is your response to this idea?
In my time, we did not separate the divine from the cosmic. The beings we called gods may well be what you now call extraterrestrial, for they did not belong solely to our world. They came from beyond, from places where even the stars seemed distant. But their nature was not simply material. They were beings of vast intelligence and purpose. They communicated not through words, but through symbols, visions, and impressions that settled into the mind like seeds. Whether you call them gods or aliens is of little consequence. What matters is that they imparted knowledge far beyond our understanding, knowledge that transcends time and space.
You mentioned sacred rituals. Can you elaborate on the role of these rituals in your interactions with the gods?
The rituals were bridges between our world and theirs. We did not perform them merely out of tradition, but because they aligned us with the gods' movements. The sacrifice of animals, the burning of incense, the chanting. These were not simply offerings, but signals, calling forth the divine attention. There were moments in these rituals when the air thickened and a presence could be felt. The gods came not for our sacrifices, but for the alignment of our spirit with the cosmic rhythm. Through these rituals, we opened our minds to their messages, becoming vessels for their will.
What is something about your time or your knowledge that modern people have overlooked or misunderstood?
You think of the gods as distant, as beings who came once and left. This is not so. They move still, hidden, perhaps, but always present. The stars are not just distant fires. They are gateways, markers of divine activity. Modern minds have become disconnected from the skies. You look at them through telescopes, searching for planets, but you miss the signs. The heavens speak, not just through light, but through the arrangement, through the paths the stars take across the night. In my time, every shift in the heavens was a message, every eclipse a revelation. You have forgotten how to read these signs.
If the gods gave you knowledge of the stars in the future, were you able to predict events that would happen long after your time?
Indeed. The gods taught me that time is not linear as you perceive it. They showed me the cycles, how events from the past ripple into the future. Wars, famines, the rise and fall of empires. All these things move in predictable patterns. I foresaw many things, not because I could see the future as a straight line, but because I understood the turning of the wheel. What you call the future is merely the past, dressed in new clothing. The gods gave me visions of cities rising from the sands, of men wielding fire as the gods once did. But they also showed me that every ascent brings with it a fall.
Can you tell us more about the divine council and the relationships between the gods? How did they govern the cosmos?
The divine council was a gathering of wills, not entirely unlike the councils of men, though far more intricate. Each god held dominion over a specific aspect of the cosmos, the winds, the waters, the stars, and they governed not through force, but through balance. They moved in harmony, each action carefully weighed against the other. The cosmos is delicate, and the gods understand that a single misstep could unravel the fabric of existence. But there were tensions, as there always are. Some gods desired more power, others sought peace. It was not unlike your world. Power, politics, and the constant tension between creation and destruction.
The gods you speak of seem to move between worlds and dimensions. Did you ever wonder whether there was something even beyond them, some force or entity that even they answered to?
Yes, the gods themselves hinted at forces beyond even their understanding, though they spoke of these things in veiled terms. They were not omniscient, and they acknowledged that they, too, were part of a greater structure, a cosmic order far grander than even they could perceive. It was not unlike a web, with each thread representing a force, a consciousness, or a god, and even they could only grasp a few threads at a time. But there was a whisper, a force they called the Great Architect, something that we could not see nor comprehend fully. This architect was not a being, but a principle, the force behind creation, time, and the very existence of worlds. The gods were bound by its design, and in their movements between dimensions, they sought to understand it, just as we do.
In modern times, people search for meaning in the stars, but often through technology and science. What would you say to those who believe only in what they can measure, those who dismiss the mystical in favor of the material?
Science is but one language the universe speaks, but it is not the only one. It is a tool, a profound and valuable one, but it is limited by the human senses and mind. The stars are not just physical objects, but reflections of deeper truths, mirrors of forces beyond matter. If you measure only what is material, you will miss the underlying essence, the energy, the intention that moves through the universe. The gods did not work within the confines of what can be seen and measured, for they knew that reality itself is fluid. Science must be paired with intuition, with spirit, to truly grasp the fullness of existence. It is like staring at a great painting and focusing only on the brush strokes, while missing the emotion, the meaning behind them. To dismiss the mystical is to look at a map and ignore the terrain.
The beings you encountered moved between worlds as if it were as natural as walking through a door. Do you think humanity will ever unlock this ability? Will we ever move between realms as they did?
The potential lies within you, but you must first unlock the doors of the mind before you can unlock the doors between worlds. The gods did not rely solely on physical means to travel. They were masters of consciousness. They could project their minds, their spirits, into realms beyond your understanding. And this is the key humanity has not yet fully grasped. You seek technology to do what can only be achieved through awakening the higher self. There will come a time when the boundary between the physical and the metaphysical will blur, and those who have mastered their consciousness will indeed walk between worlds. But this will require a shift, not in your tools, but in your very way of thinking, of perceiving reality. Until then, you will be bound to the material, unaware of the doorways all around you.
Time is something we view as linear, past, present, future. But you've hinted that this isn't the case. Can you explain how time worked for the gods and how we might better understand it?
Time is like a river, but not one that flows in a single direction. Imagine instead that you are standing in the middle of the river, and you can reach into both the past and the future, for both are ever present. For the gods, time was not a constraint, but a landscape, something they could navigate freely. They could see all possible outcomes, all realities, at once, like watching multiple threads of a tapestry being woven simultaneously. For humanity, time appears to move forward because you are bound by the physical, by the limitations of your senses. But the mind, when untethered, can experience time as the gods do, as something that folds, loops, and repeats. In sacred moments, in dreams, you experience glimpses of this. You call them déjà vu, but they are moments where you step outside the stream and into the vast ocean of possibility.
You mentioned that the gods could see both past and future as one. Does that mean our futures are already determined? Do we have free will, or are we bound by fate?
The future is both written and unwritten, a paradox. The gods see the tapestry of all possible futures, but each thread represents a choice, a path. Free will exists, but it exists within the framework of the cosmic order. Imagine standing at the center of a great tree, with branches stretching in all directions. Each branch is a potential future, and the choices you make determine which branch you follow. Some branches are stronger, more likely to be followed, while others are fragile, faint possibilities. The gods can see all the branches, but even they do not know which one you will take. for free will is the gift given to mortals. Fate may nudge, may guide, but it does not command.
You've spoken of visions and symbols. In modern times, people often claim to see signs in their daily lives, repeating numbers, unusual coincidences. Are these truly messages, or are we just seeing what we want to see?
The universe speaks in symbols, in patterns, but not all are meant for you. To understand the messages, you must first quiet the noise of your mind, for in silence, the true signs reveal themselves. Repeating numbers, strange coincidences. These can indeed be messages, but they are subtle, and most do not understand how to interpret them. The gods communicate not in language, but in synchronicity, in moments where time folds in on itself. When you are aligned with the flow of the universe, the signs become clear, and they feel like a gentle nudge, a resonance within your soul. But be wary, for the mind can create its own illusions, its own patterns. Not every coincidence is a sign, just as not every shadow hides a secret. Trust your intuition, for the true signs will speak to your spirit, not your mind.
The gods taught you divination, the art of predicting the future. How accurate were these predictions, and did they always come true?
Divination is not the art of seeing the future as if it were a fixed image. It is the art of reading the currents of possibility. It is like standing at the edge of the sea and watching the waves. You can predict the flow of the tides, the rise and fall of the waters, but you cannot predict the exact motion of every ripple. The gods showed me how to read the patterns of the stars, the movements of the heavens, and the cycles of time. But even they could not predict every outcome. Divination is not about certainty. It is about understanding the flow of energy, the direction in which the universe is moving. Some things are inevitable, but most are fluid, and they shift with every choice, every action. My predictions came true often, but not always in the way expected, for the universe has a way of surprising even those who know its secrets.
Many believe that humanity's current path leads to destruction, to a collapse of civilization. Do you think the gods have foreseen this? Is there hope for us, or is the end inevitable?
The collapse is always possible, for every great civilization rises and falls, as did the kingdoms of my time. But the gods do not see the end as you do. Destruction is part of creation, and every fall is followed by a rebirth. The path you are on now is perilous, for you have lost your connection to the sacred, to the natural rhythms of the world. But the future is not fixed. There are moments, critical junctures, where humanity can change its course. The gods watch, not to interfere, but to see what you will do with the knowledge you have been given. There is hope, but it lies not in technology or power, but in a return to wisdom, in remembering your place in the cosmic order. The choice is yours, as it always has been.
You were given the knowledge of reading the stars and predicting cosmic events. Do you believe modern humanity has lost its ability to connect with the stars in a meaningful way?
Yes, the stars are no longer seen as guides, but as distant objects to be studied. You look at them with machines, with numbers, and you forget that they once spoke to you, that they were your ancestors, your gods. In my time, every movement of the heavens was a message, every alignment a revelation. The stars are not distant, they are within you. They pulse with the same energy that flows through your blood, and their movements reflect the shifts in your spirit, your collective consciousness. But modern humanity has lost this connection. You see the stars, but you do not feel them. To reconnect with the stars, you must look not just with your eyes, but with your soul. The knowledge is still there, waiting for you to remember.
If the gods can see all possible futures, why do they allow humanity to make mistakes? Why not intervene and guide us?
The gods are not your keepers. They are your teachers. They allow you to stumble, to fall, because it is through struggle that true wisdom is born. If they intervened at every moment, you would remain as children, never growing, never learning. The gods see the mistakes you make, and they weep for them, but they also understand that every error carries with it the seed of enlightenment. The path of humanity is not one of perfection, but of growth through adversity. The gods provide guidance, signs, and knowledge, but they do not force your hand. To intervene would be to strip you of the very thing that makes you divine in your own right, your ability to choose, to create, to learn from your experiences. In the end, it is not about avoiding mistakes, but about what you do after them.
You've mentioned that humanity has lost its connection to the stars, to the divine. What would it take for us to reconnect with that ancient wisdom? Is it even possible in the modern world?
It is possible, but it will not be easy, for you are surrounded by noise, by distractions that pull you away from the sacred. To reconnect, you must first silence the constant chatter of your mind and the world around you. You must return to the rhythms of nature, to the cycles of the moon, the sun, the stars. Spend time in silence, in meditation, not seeking answers, but allowing the universe to speak to you in its own time. Reconnection is not about learning something new, but about remembering what has always been within you. The gods have never left. It is humanity that has turned away. You must find your way back by seeking balance, not just in your outer life, but within your soul. When you align yourself with the cosmic order, the stars will once again become your guides, and the divine will speak through you.
In your time, you had direct experiences with the gods, with beings from other realms. In today's world, many people claim to have similar experiences, encounters with extraterrestrial beings or otherworldly entities. Are these modern encounters connected to the same cosmic phenomena you witnessed?
Yes, they are different manifestations of the same phenomenon. The beings you now call extraterrestrials, spirits, or otherworldly entities are not new. They have been present throughout time, taking on forms that resonate with the consciousness of each era. In my time, we understood them as gods, beings of immense power and wisdom who moved between worlds. Today, they may appear as visitors from distant stars or as energies from other dimensions, but the essence is the same. These encounters are a reminder that humanity is not alone, that you are part of a vast interconnected universe. The forms may change, but the message remains. There are forces beyond your understanding, and they seek to guide, teach, and challenge you.
You've spoken of thresholds between worlds, of gates that the gods use to travel between dimensions. Could these gates still exist, hidden in our world? Have they ever been discovered?
The gates have always existed, though they are not always physical. They are places where the veil between dimensions is thin, where the energies of different realms bleed into one another. Some of these gates are in the stars, aligning at certain moments in time, but others are here on Earth, hidden in plain sight. They may take the form of sacred sites, places of great power where ancient civilizations built temples, pyramids, or stone circles, unknowingly or knowingly marking these cosmic crossroads. Many have sought these gates, and some have found them, though not always in the way they expected. The truth is, the gates are not locked. They require a shift in perception, an attunement of the mind and spirit to pass through. They are not physical doors, but vibrational thresholds.
You've touched on human consciousness as a key to unlocking cosmic mysteries. How far are we from fully realizing this potential? And what would it take for us to evolve to that level of awareness?
You are closer than you think, but also further away than you realize. The potential lies dormant in every human, but few are willing to undertake the inner journey required to unlock it. Modern life pulls you outward, to technology, to distractions, to the material world, while the key to evolution lies within. To evolve to this level of awareness, humanity must undergo a collective awakening, a shift from seeking power in the external world to finding it in the depths of the soul. This requires patience, discipline, and the willingness to face the shadow, the parts of yourself you have long ignored. It is not about gaining new powers, but about shedding the layers of illusion that keep you from seeing the truth. The path is difficult, but the reward is beyond anything you can imagine. When enough of you awaken, the collective consciousness will shift and the doors to cosmic knowledge will open.
There is a growing belief that humanity's destiny may lie not just on Earth, but in the stars, colonizing other planets and traveling to distant worlds. Do you think this is part of our cosmic purpose, or are we meant to remain on Earth?
The Earth is your home, but it is not your prison. You were never meant to remain here forever. Just as the gods moved between worlds, so too will humanity. It is written in the stars, in the very fabric of your being, that you are wanderers, explorers of the infinite. But before you can travel the physical stars, you must first learn to travel the stars within. If you attempt to colonize other worlds without first mastering your own inner cosmos, you will repeat the same mistakes that have plagued your history. The stars are waiting for you, but they are not a refuge from your problems. They are a mirror. They will reflect back to you whatever you bring to them. If you bring wisdom, harmony, and respect, they will welcome you. If you bring greed, division, and destruction, they will reject you.
Many in modern times feel disconnected, not just from the divine, but from each other. There is a growing sense of isolation, even in a world that is more connected than ever. Why do you think this is happening, and how can we overcome it?
You are more connected through your machines, but less connected through your hearts. The web of technology binds you in ways that seem profound, but are, in truth, shallow. The gods taught us that true connection comes not through words or images, but through energy, through the deep understanding of another's spirit. Modern humanity has forgotten this. You communicate more, but you understand less. You share more, but you feel less. To overcome this, you must return to the art of presence, to truly seeing and feeling the people around you. It is not enough to speak. You must listen, not just with your ears, but with your soul. The connection you seek is not external. It is an inner thread that ties you to all of existence. When you rediscover this, you will find that you were never truly isolated.
Lastly, what message would you give to those who seek answers, who feel a calling to understand the greater mysteries of life and the universe?
The answers you seek are already within you, but you must be willing to journey inward to find them. The universe speaks to you in every moment, in every breath, in every beat of your heart. But most of you are too busy, too distracted to hear its whisper. If you wish to understand the greater mysteries, you must first cultivate silence within yourself. Be still and let the universe unfold before you. Do not seek answers in the words of others. Seek them in the depths of your own soul. The gods gave me knowledge not because I was special, but because I was open, because I had prepared myself to receive. The same is true for you. When you are ready, when you have cleared away the noise, the distractions, the illusions, the universe will reveal its secrets. Until then, be patient, be humble, and above all, be curious.
This conversation with Enmeduranki has taken us far beyond the material world into the realms of consciousness, cosmic mysteries, and the divine movements between worlds. His wisdom reminds us that the path to understanding is not outward but inward, and that the answers we seek about the stars and the gods are tied to our own spiritual evolution. At the Afterwards, we strive to bring these ancient voices back to life, to connect you with the wisdom of the past in ways that challenge, inspire, and provoke deep thought. If you found value in this interview,